Hello everyone, Caleb Masters from the Cinematropolis.com here with a quick mini review of Wake Up Dead Man. It is the third entry in Rian Johnson's Knives Out Whodunit series starring Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc.
Everyone thinks I did it. I didn't do it.
This goes way beyond normal police work. This is something even I have not experienced. A perfectly impossible crime.
This case is solvable, right?
I'm incapable of not solving a crime. Oh, you'll see. It's fun.
After being a box office and critical smash in 2019, Knives Out came in hot with a follow-up sequel for Netflix, Glass Onion. And this is sort of Johnson and Craig taking down tech billionaires. And they're back for round 3. Is it possible to keep the Knives Out momentum going? Or is it time for Benoit Blanc to take a quick seat on the bench?
It is time to discover what this flock of wicked wolves is hiding.
Here's what I'll say about Wake Up Dead Man. It is a huge gear shift from Glass Onion's big, loud send-up of billionaires, tech billionaires, and I would say Knives Out more traditional, little quieter whodunit story. This time, Blanc's co-investigator is Reverend Judd Duplessis, who is played by Josh O'Connor, who you may remember from Challengers, one of last year's biggest critical hits, and certainly one of my top 5 films of the year. At the center of the story is Josh Brolin as Monsignor Jefferson Wicks, who is a charismatic and domineering priest who serves as a congregation's central figure. And within his congregation are classic Knives Out, an all-star cast, including Glenn Close, Jeremy Renner, Andrew Scott, Kaylee Spaney, Daryl McCormick, and Thomas Hayden Church, among a few other really fun appearances. One thing I like about Wake Up Dead Man is that the film has a lot more on its mind, specifically about the place of religious institutions in the year of 2025, what draws individuals to follow a cult of personality or get sucked into a cult of personality, and also the hypocrisy of righteousness that is very much at the play in our world today. And I think what is most impressive to me about Wake Up Dead Man is not only that it has these things on its mind, but it's very slow and meticulous in how it marches towards its especially complex mystery, and by extension, the themes. Now, we all know Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc, but the real star of Wake Up Dead Man is actually Josh O'Connor, who is playing a character of Faith, who I think is a very welcome and much needed foil to Benoit Blanc's sort of, I would say, skepticism or even cynicism towards the church. So you get there's a dialogue that is happening between these characters throughout the film that I found particularly interesting, especially when the movie is living in that tension between, is there a larger power at work, or is this all just part of an elaborate plan that's been laid by something that's a little more mischievous. Those are a few of the things I like. The biggest problem I have with Wake Up Dead Man is simply the pacing. This has an incredible setup. I'm leaning in. We've laid out the story. I won't spoil it, but there's a really interesting framework in which they're exploring the setup. And then we get a second act that almost loses the thread. It kind of goes in a lot of different places. There was a couple of times I was starting to look at my watch and think, hey, where are we going with this? The story seems like we're really hung up on a lot of different red herrings or subplots that are going nowhere. Luckily, the movie rebounds from its very meandery second act and launches into an especially memorable whodunit mystery climax that not only delivers on the answers to the biggest questions that are posed in the first act and explored further in Act 2, but goes a step further. Instead of just giving us answers, it's also giving us revelations for the audience to not only think about, but really be chewing on and applying to our real world today long after the credits have rolled. And in my opinion, this is the most powerful kind of mystery, one that not only challenges the audience to solve the mystery, but more importantly, asks the audience to think about the why and what do these reveals mean about us as individuals. Lots of things to chew on, and that is why Wake Up Dead Man is probably, while also perhaps the most deeply flawed of the three from a scripting perspective, is also my personal favorite. It's exploring a lot of ideas that I think are very rich. There are not clear answers, but they are also very worth talking about in our current cultural moment of 2025. That is why I'm going to be giving Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, an A-. I think this was still one of my top 10 movies of the year so far. I had a great time. Even though it's the third Knives Out film, it is not doing anything like the second movie, which was also not doing anything like the first movie. So it continues to show that Rian Johnson knows how to bring really, really unique ideas to very familiar genres, and that he's not a one-trick pony. So again, this film opens in some US theaters today for 1 week only. So that clock is ticking, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, yes, absolutely watch this when it debuts on Netflix on Friday, December 12th. If you enjoyed today's review, I've got great news. We're going to be having an in-depth discussion with Lauren Chapman next month, closer to the film's Netflix debut. Until then, you can head to thecinematropolis.com, which is your home to thoughtful conversations on film. If you want more reviews like this, make sure to give us a follow at The Cinematrop on Instagram. Give us a like, comment. What is your favorite thing about the Knives Out films? What did you think of Wake Up Dead Man? Go ahead and comment below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you at the movies.